Good evening, everyone. We are so glad to have you back with us. And I just want to let you know that we have two outstanding guests for you. I'm going to introduce the first guest, and we have several questions for her. And I think you're going to be impressed by the responses and the answers you get. First of all, my first guest is going to be Sheriff Sharon Wehrly. She is the sheriff of Nye County, and she's truly an outstanding supporter of veterans and everything else that we try to do in the community. But we're going to be talking about that more. So Sheriff Wehrly, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much, Tom. I really appreciate that.
Look, we're very glad to have you on. And the thing that I wanted to get people to see is, first of all, how long have you been sheriff, and where are you from originally, and how did you get to Pahrump?
Oh my, that's a long story.
Yes.
Well, first of all, I won the election in November of 2014 and took office on January 5th of 2015. This is my second term, and I've enjoyed every bit of it, and I really appreciate people having enough faith in me to give me a second term. And where did I come from? Well, let's see. I was born in Long Beach, California, to a military family. And so my formative years, I've been across the United States a couple of times, and Japan, and Canada, Mexico. How did I end up here? Well, my mom and dad decided that they were going to go into the bar business in Beatty, Nevada. And so I came down to help them from Washington State. And I met this really nice police officer and fell in love and married him. And so about 5 or 6 months into our marriage, we moved to Pahrump, Nevada, and I've been here ever since. That was 1966.
Wow. Now that everybody knows about our sheriff and her background, now a lot of that I did not know. And so a lot of that was very educational for me, and I assume it was educational for you as well. But that's our sheriff, that's our county sheriff, and she does such an outstanding job. I did want to, I've said already, and I want to say again, she is a community supporter. Whenever anything is going on in the community, I see Sheriff Wehrly out there. When things are happening for the veterans, I see Sheriff Wehrly out there supporting us completely. She is truly a county sheriff that takes care of all of her people. So this is fantastic. But Sheriff, I have some questions I'd like to ask, and I know I have several, and we've got 2 sessions, so we're going to try and cover as much as we can. But during the pandemic, can you tell me how it's impacted Nye County Sheriff's Office?
Well, yes. We were greatly impacted. First of all, we, like everybody else, saw it coming from across the sea, and then we watched it come across the United States, having absolutely no idea of the real impact that it was going to have on individual lives. When it got here, people started to panic. And believe it or not, they panicked in the grocery stores. And that's where a lot of our business takes place. People ran to the grocery store and started taking things off the shelves. Mm-hmm. And it was almost like a Black Friday. I mean, they were pushing and shoving and taking things out of older people's and younger people's hands. People from out of state and people from Las Vegas came up here to do the same thing. We had a meeting with the grocery people and our emergency task force, and we put people in the grocery stores. We actually kept the peace in the grocery stores and outside in the parking lots. If it hadn't been for our volunteers, we wouldn't have been able to make that coverage. But we did, and we kept people in those grocery stores to keep the peace for about a month. In addition to that, during our conversations with the grocery people, we were told that, well, you know, we have shipments all the time. We're really not, I have a fly. Anyway, we're really not lacking things on the shelf, even though our shelves are bare. We have shipments coming in all the time, and we just can't stock our shelves because we have so many people in the store. And so what we did, we put together a grocery network on Facebook. And we put that over our social media to let people know that there were things coming in and what they were. This supermarket might have meat and produce coming in one day. Another supermarket might have paper products. Toilet paper was a big thing. You couldn't keep toilet paper on the shelves. And so that really did help, because then people didn't have to go to 2 or 3 or 4 different places to try to find the commodity that they were looking for. They went to the website, they found out what the delivery schedule was for their type of product, and then they moved on. And it worked out very well. It impacted the way that we did business within our facility, of course. We implemented a living document, and it changed almost every day there in the very beginning, from not wearing masks to wearing masks to sanitizing anything and everything between every customer. And then we ended up shutting down the front office. We moved our dispatch people into our mobile command posts, and then eventually to Beatty, so that they weren't around one another. They weren't close enough to get sick. I had 2 people stay in dispatch itself, and 2 people finally move to Beatty, and they passed each other on the road. We did a lot of things to try to keep our services up. We minimized the contact unless we had, I would say, somebody who was speeding. Most people, we just would wave them down and tell them to slow down. But if they were really moving on and not paying any attention, yes, we'd stop them. But generally, we tried to keep the peace and tried to maintain our traffic laws with as little contact as possible for their protection and for our protection. That didn't keep us from arresting people for heinous crimes or domestic battery or DUI or anything like that. Our jail, we locked it completely down. We tested absolutely everybody. And we did end up having some COVID come into our facility and infect a whole bunch of people. But we managed to get through that. We had pods set aside for people who tested positive for COVID. And it was an interesting time.
Sheriff,
we didn't have, and I've got to tell you this story,
okay,
because
go ahead.
we didn't have a testing mechanism. The hospitals were testing their patients. The doctor's offices were testing their patients. But the masses didn't have any place to go. Our public didn't have any place to go to be tested. So we went to our medical contractor for the detention centers, and we asked her, Gabby, is there any way that we can get testing for Nye County? And she said, well, I think so. Let me make a few phone calls. So she made a few phone calls, And out of those phone calls, we ended up testing on an every other day basis. Well, we tested every day for a little while, but every other day basis in Pahrump, and then alternate days in Amargosa and Beatty, Tonopah, and in Round Mountain. And so we provided our contractor to help out with that. The state really didn't get involved with us too much until the actual vaccines started coming out. And then we helped the state move the initial vaccines from point to point. So yes, we had a lot of impact.
Okay, I was going to say, you made it look so easy. I mean, you did it seamless. And I know that most of the people that are watching this tonight, including myself, did not know all these things were going on. You were doing all these things behind the scene, keeping us safe, making us feel good, because we did not know what you were going through. But you made us feel good. And I think that's one of the good things about you being sheriff. You've been very positive. You've had a positive impact on our community, our entire county, our town. And we really appreciate that. It is so much going on. Now, I know I want to talk to you about the fact that you have an academy graduation coming up soon. And I want you to tell us a little bit about that, but we're going to have to go into the next session where we have so many other questions that are going to be coming up at the same time. So in the next session, I want you to talk about the officers that you have, some of the other things that you're doing. There is so much going on in the sheriff's office, and we're just so proud of everything you're doing. So I want everybody to come back and join us for the next session, because we've got a lot more to cover with our Nye County Sheriff. Thank you. Welcome back. We're so glad to have you back with us. Now, Sheriff Wehrly has something else she'd like to add to what we were talking about in our last session. Go ahead, Sheriff.
Yes, I do. I'd like to impress upon everybody that if I didn't have dedicated people who cared about this county working for me, none of this would have been possible. And that's the command staff, all of the deputies, and all of our administrative staff and all of our volunteers. They pitched in and put themselves at risk to make sure that Nye County was safe. And that's really all I wanted to say about that.
Okay. Well, let's get back to the academy that's graduating this week, and tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, well, we have a wonderful academy graduating this week. And we started with 17 people. As you know, it's very difficult to get people through the background process and just get them into the academy. And it's even more difficult then to get them out of the academy, because there's so much that they have to learn. And I only have 8 people who are actually graduating. I started with, as I said, 17 recruits, and I had 2 volunteers join in, people who weren't getting paid, but they wanted to go through the academy, and so I agreed to let them go through the academy at their own expense. Out of all of them, I have 8 that finally did make it and will be graduating. Well, then I want to say a little bit about our curriculum.
Okay.
Our curriculum is certified. It's certified by the State of Nevada Peace Officer Standard and Training. Our academy is a combined Category 1, Category 3. And what Category 1, Category 3 means is Category 1 people are certified to work the street. Category 3 people are certified by the state to work in detention. So it's 2 separate jobs. What we did some time ago, oh golly, probably 5 years ago, we combined those classes so that as we're teaching the Category 3, the Category 1 people are all going through that, and then the Category 3 people that have chosen to just work in detention, then continue on and graduate with a Category 1, having all of them having Category 1 and Category 3 certifications. What that does is that provides us the ability to move our people around. And, I guess I should tell you that our academy is about 1,000 hours. Now, the state isn't. The Category 1 and 2 combined is about 640 hours of training. So we provide another almost 400 hours of training to our people, that's site-specific, county-specific training on our policies, procedures, and processes. The state actually is planning on melding their academy together, and they have been down to look at how we've handled our academy, melding it together as a Category 1, Category 3 academy. We're really proud of those people that had the tenacity to put up with all of the things that you have to put up with and pass all of the tests that you have to put up with and be successful. They're going to go into FTO as soon as they graduate, and they'll be out on the street. You'll see them with their FTO person that's teaching them how the street actually works. And I guess that's about all I have to say on that one.
Okay. You know, when we look at that, when we look at all the training that they're receiving, I know that Nye County has lost officers throughout the years. But how are you showing support for Nevada Highway Patrol Trooper May? I know they're having his services. They had his services last week.
Yes. We're providing an honor guard and also people for the procession. In addition to that, we offered and NHP accepted us taking over the NHP duties for that day so that their troopers could attend the funeral. So we, of course, went to the funeral and gave our respects. Nye County itself has lost 8 on-duty deaths since 1864.
Well, Sheriff, we also have to ask the question, what is your plan, and do you have a plan for Nye County Sheriff's Office? I know you've talked about a lot of things that you're doing, a lot of things that are going on, but for the future of Nye County Sheriff's Office, what's your plan for that?
What is my plan for the Nye County Sheriff's Office? Well, you know, one of the things I want to do is complete the accreditation process for patrol. Now, we've met the accreditation requirements for ICE and the Marshal's Office, which are both federal accreditations, and have withstood outside audits on that program over the last few years. We've been audited approximately 6 times since 2019. I'd like to see the same thing happen for patrol. We're going to focus on revising procedures and processes for the civil side of the Sheriff's Office. And we did that for the detention side, for all of our volunteers, and for the patrol side of the house. But we haven't really touched the civil side of the house to completely revamp all of the policies and procedures. And in some cases, policies and procedures don't exist for tasks that we've been doing for a very long time. So we're going to capture all of that and all of the changes that the newest legislations have made to be sure that our civil department is up to speed. Not that they're not doing a wonderful job now, but I just want to make sure that they have the backup of having something written that they're actually going by. We want to redesign the staffing to ensure that all areas of Nye County have access to law enforcement services. They do now, but in some areas, we just don't have enough people to provide the level of service that I'm comfortable with and that I'd like to see for Nye County. I want to reopen the Amargosa substation. That substation was shut down, oh gosh, probably 16, 18 years ago now. I've tried since 2017 to get the building refurbished. It's now completed, and we're working on putting all of the new equipment in it, computers and that kind of thing. And we're going to reopen the Beatty Substation Administrative front office so that people in Beatty will be able to, and surrounding areas, because there's a huge surrounding area, will be able to go there to get fingerprints done, their work cards, and that kind of thing, instead of having to drive all the way down to Pahrump or go to Tonopah to do that. So those are my big text items at the moment, along with being part of developing the SWAT protocols for the state. I have my SWAT commander involved in that initiative, and they're doing very well on that. We're in other initiatives. I'm on the committee with sheriffs and chiefs for the CCWs, and we've made some changes in that program, and we're looking forward to making a few others. Gee, I ran out of stuff to talk about. I don't know.
Look, I've got more questions, and we're running out of time. But I've heard a lot about the sheriff's budget. And can you give me an overview of how you're working with the county to control this budget?
Oh, yes.
And how can you control a budget with an agency that responds primarily to emergencies?
It's really difficult. If you know anything about budgets, you know that when you put a budget together, you put a budget together on the things that you did in the past. Well, in Nye County, the way that the budget for the sheriff's office had been working over the years, it was a lump sum, and there weren't any real divisions in that budget. You know, the way that you track things is you cost code different things out. So everything has a cost. Your gasoline has a cost. If you have an emergency response, that emergency response then should all be coded together. All of those people that respond should be under that code. All of the products that they use should be under that code. Their gasoline, their wear and tear on their car, and anything else that you use, pop-up tents, anything that you use or you buy for that particular response should be within that cost code. And that's what we've gone to. So this year is our very first year of, well, last year we started implementing, but this year we actually have cost codes for most everything. And we'll be able to follow that through the year. We got a financial officer for the very first time last year, and she's been a godsend. She's really helped us put everything together. So maybe we can talk about budget a little bit later, and I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Waters.
Okay, look, managing a budget, we know that in the past, the sheriff's office has always had some problems with that. Since you've taken over as sheriff, I don't hear anything about it, which means you've got it under control. Thank you for being here, Sheriff, and we want you to come back and join us at the next show.
Thank you so much, Tom.
Welcome back. We're so glad to have you back with us. I have another guest, another exciting guest that's going to be giving you a lot of information. So as I always tell you, be sure to write down the information, write down phone numbers or anything else that you need. But She's going to provide an awful lot, and I'm talking about Diane Wrightman. She's the director of Great Basin College at the Pahrump campus, and they do a lot over there. Even before I introduce her to you, I want to remind everybody that Great Basin College, many people call it a community college, and it is because it's in the community. But when you look at the definition of a community college that only offer 2-year degrees, that is not Great Basin College. Great Basin College does offer 4-year degrees. So in the definition sense, it is not a community college, although Great Basin College Pahrump campus is in our community. So look at it any way you want, but Diane's going to give you a lot of information, and we expect you to contact her if you want to advance your education or do anything else. She's got a lot of information she's going to provide. So Diane, welcome to the show. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you, Dr. Waters. I'm glad to be back. I love being on the show. So we're gearing up for a new semester here. We start August 30th. We are excited. We know that with everything going on in the world, we're decided last March that we were going to stay online. And so we still have a number of classes that will be offered online for our students. And we also have classes that will be live. We have a few hybrid classes which means that they'll be taking part of it in the classroom, and then part of it, it'll just be done through online, maybe via Zoom or a program we call Blue Jeans. But we're very excited for the new semester, and we encourage our community to come out. You can sign up for classes all the way through that first week of the semester.
Well, you know, when you talk about those things, we also want to know about how many students, when you talk about Great Basin College, I know it's a statewide college, and you have a lot of students throughout the state. And I don't want to just pick on Pahrump campus, because you handle a little bit more than that. So tell us about your students, your numbers of students, and maybe even your numbers of classes.
Yeah, so we cover 85,000 square miles of the state of Nevada, believe it or not. And throughout that state, we have about 4,000 students who attend GBC, whether either online or live at one of our centers. We have 3 centers total. We have one in Winnemucca, we have one in Ely, we have a small site there in Battle Mountain, our main campus in Elko, and then of course our location here in Pahrump, Nevada. Here locally, we have about 1,100 students that are taking classes here in Nye County, and I'm also responsible for Clark County. And so between the 2 counties, we have about 1,100 students taking classes. We have well over 100 degree programs that range anywhere from social work. We have a social work 3+1 program with the University of Nevada, Reno. We also have bachelor programs in elementary and secondary education. We have a new program in a Bachelor of Diagnostic Medical Sonography. So we have a variety of classes, a variety of programs, a variety of 2-year programs as well. If you want to get a 2-year associate's in a computer technology, or if you want to get a 2-year associate's degree in maybe criminal justice. I know the sheriff was on earlier. We have those programs available, and you can do them all here at the Pahrump Center, or you can do them virtually online. So.
Okay, well, I know you mentioned the 3+1. I'd like you to go into detail and explain what that is. And also, I've heard a lot about your RN program, if you can tell us about that as well.
Yeah, so our 3+1 program is our social work program. So typically, students will do their first 3 years here at Great Basin College, and then their final year is done all online. And this is an online program, so their final year will be done online through the Nevada, or through the University of Nevada, Reno. And then they believe they usually go up, maybe visit Reno once or twice during their program, but it's been very popular for us. Students really enjoy it. If students don't like the social work route, they can also do the human service route. It's a little bit more of counseling. By going through that program, you receive your certification in drug and alcohol addictions and gambling addictions. We also have the #1 rated RN program, nursing program here in the state of Nevada. Great Basin College is very proud to hold that spot. We accept a number of students every year. We accept them once a year. And then they do all of their clinicals here in the community. They'll do some rotations here at our local hospital at Desert View, and they'll also do some other rotations in Las Vegas. So it's exciting for us. We also, our other programs that we have in the health science field is we have a new radiology program. And so if you want to be an x-ray tech and you want to do a radiology program, we have that opportunity for our students too. It's fairly new. We're only in our second cohort of students here in Pahrump. And then we also have a brand new, we received a grant from the federal government, so we have a brand new diagnostic medical sonography program. And so a student can get their bachelor's degree in sonography, and if you already work in a health allied field, we do have a post-certification for those students. And so if you're already a nurse or if you're already a paramedic, an EMT, you could possibly come in and get post-certification in sonography. And so it's always nice to have those additional certifications to just make yourself more marketable.
You know, I do want to comment again on the nursing program, #1 recognized in the entire state, and it's at Great Basin College. That's the RN program. So I know you're very proud of it, but we're very proud of it because we can claim it. So that is fantastic. The radiology and all the other things that you offer, I'm sure there are a lot of people that are watching the show tonight that didn't know that. So I'm going to encourage them to go ahead and call the number that we keep putting on the screen under your name so that they can call and find out more information. Now, when they call that number, and I won't say what it is because I'm not looking at it, but when they call that number, 727-2000 and the 775 area code, then who are they going to be talking to, and what kind of questions should they ask, can they ask, and what kind of responses are they going to get to those questions?
So if you're a new student coming to Great Basin College and you call that 727-2000 number, you're going to reach one of our administrative assistants. You may even reach myself. It just depends on who's answering the phone at the time. And just say you're a new student. You want to know more about Great Basin College. We'll put you in the right path. We'll have you go online to our website, gbcnv.edu. We'll have you apply to Great Basin College, and then we'll have you come in and maybe speak with one of our academic advisors. We do have financial aid funding available through the FAFSA. It's a free application for students who may qualify depending on their salary and how much they make. Lots of people do qualify for a Pell Grant, and you don't have to pay those back if you qualify. So we also have other financial aid resources available for our classes. So we give you a lot of information when you come visit us. So if you make that initial call, make that appointment, I'd be more than happy to speak with anybody about the opportunities that we have available.
You know, something else, and I know a lot of people are asking questions. If I take classes at Great Basin College, would it be transferable, say, to, UNLV, for one, if I wanted to go there? Or if I wanted to go to, I'm going to pick my schools, Mississippi State University or Illinois Institute of Technology or someplace else. Would those classes be transferable to those schools as well?
Absolutely. So Great Basin College is part of the Nevada system of higher education. So we, I like to call, College of Southern Nevada, Nevada State College, UNLV, UNR, DRI. All of these colleges are here in the state, so all of our classes are transferable within our state. By getting a 2-year degree from Great Basin College, you are automatically accepted into UNLV or into UNR or Nevada State College to pursue your upper division classes for whatever degree that you're thinking of pursuing. If you do decide you want to go out of state, that 2-year Associate of Arts or Associate of Science degree will transfer with you to those other schools that are accredited. You just need to make sure that the school that you're transferring to will accept our credits, but as long as they're accredited by one of the educational commissions that are out there that accreditate colleges and universities, our classes and our degrees will transfer with you to those schools. So
That's excellent to know. You know, the other side to that is the actual cost. Now, because I had to take, after I got here, I had to take some graduate level classes at the UNLV, and they're pretty expensive, even for veterans. So what's the difference in cost? And I hate to put you on the spot with that, but what's the difference in cost between Great Basin College, say, and UNLV?
So UNLV is a university, so of course they're going to have a lot more fees. They have a larger campus. They have, their rec center. They have their stadiums that they have to pay for. So they have additional fees that maybe a smaller college like Great Basin College, or even some of our other community colleges here in the state, like Truckee Meadows Community College or Western Nevada College, our prices are going to be a little bit lower. They're a little bit more affordable for the students who maybe just want to get some of those general education requirements out of the way. I know that if you were to attend Great Basin College and take 12 credits, which is a full-time student, so they're taking about 4 classes, they're going to pay anywhere between $1,200 and $1,500, just depending on the classes, because some of our courses do have additional fees attached to them. So if you're going to take a science class, there may be an additional fee, whereas if you take an English class, there may be a lower fee. So it just depends, and that's why we encourage students to come in, to come visit, so we can have those conversations and we can talk about how our programs and how our classes will cost, what it would look like, how it is achievable. I always feel like people think that college is so expensive and there's no way I can get a degree, but you would be surprised what scholarships are out there, what aid is out there, and what opportunities that you have. So,
You know, all of this is fantastic information. Now, I know we're running out of time for this session, but we have one more session, and we're going to be covering an awful lot of information. Some of you may even be asking, general education, what are general education classes, and how is that really going to help me? But Diane's going to explain all of that to you in our next session. So come back and join us, and be ready for the next session. Welcome back for our final session. Again, I have Diane Wrightman. She's the director of Great Basin College, Pahrump campus, and she covers a lot of area. Great Basin College itself covers a lot of area. But before we get back into education, I do want to talk about the fact that I was so proud of the fact in Pahrump when they had Purple Heart Day. Purple Heart Day is August 7th, as everybody knows, and at the cemetery and the Veterans Memorial, we had the ceremony for Purple Heart Day. It was from 6 to 7 p.m. Saturday, and the turnout was just phenomenal. And we appreciate the community coming out supporting that and supporting all the Gold Star families and the Purple Heart recipients. We really appreciate all the support that you have. Again, thank you for supporting Purple Heart recipients and Purple Heart Day. Remember, too, that Nye County is a Purple Heart county, and Pahrump is a Purple Heart town. So when you see the signs coming in, that's the reason for it. And we'd like to thank Dan Peterson. He's the commander of the Military Order of the Purple Heart in Henderson, Nevada. They sponsored us so we could actually do that. Now, let's get back to education because it is so important, and get back to Diane Wrightman. And the first question I have is, I know she mentioned some things about general education courses, and some people don't know what they are. So Diane, when we talk about general education, general ed courses, what are we talking about?
So most programs, whether you go to a community college or whether you go to a university, you're going to be taking what we call general education classes. Those classes are going to be your general ed. Like when you were in high school, you were taking those math and English, science, social science. It just helps make you a well-rounded student, and it helps prep you for those upper division classes that you're going to be taking. And so students that attend any college or university will typically take general education classes. I am a proponent of encouraging people to attend community college for 2 years, taking those general education classes, saving some money those first 2 years. But I also support the university environment and feel like sometimes students need to get away from home and go live on campus for their 4 years of college. So It just depends on where you are financially and how comfortable you are with, do you need to be home and with your families, or can you go away to school and to university and take those general ed classes? They also help you with determining what kind of program you might want to go into. Maybe you're undecided and you don't really know what you want to do. Maybe you want to be a teacher, maybe you want to be a pilot, or maybe you want to be a police officer. And so by taking those general education classes, it helps you have the opportunity to take some intro classes in some of those areas that maybe you're not completely sure about. And so it might inspire you to find a career that you may want to pursue.
Outstanding. I know we have some time left on this segment, and we're following that closely. When we look at that, there's so many other classes that you have as well, and other students that you have. You have some high school students. Tell us about the high school and some of the other things that you're doing as far as that goes.
So we have high school students who are taking dual credit classes. So high school, actually Nye County, they started classes this week on Monday and yesterday. And so they're taking our college classes. So they're getting credit for not only our programs for our classes, but they're also getting credit at the high school. We do have a brand new college pathway program for incoming juniors. So those juniors who can test into our math classes a little bit more advanced into our pre-calculus class, they are going to be taking classes with Great Basin College. And then by the time they graduate high school, they will have their Associate of Arts or Associate of Science degree. And so this is a brand new program that we are going to be putting together a small cohort and see how it works. And hopefully we'll have a great turnout, and it could be something that we can build on and continue to have more graduates that can come out of the high school. And so that way they're not only saving money because tuition's half off if you are a high school student. And this semester, Nye County is actually paying the tuition for their students, which we are very grateful for. And so it just helps them be better and helps them see what they can, be moving forward after graduation and moving on to either another college or staying at Great Basin College. So we also have our normal students too, our other students, I shouldn't say normal, but our other high school students who are just going to take a couple classes with us. They might take a math or a science, and that will transfer back to their high school. So we're really excited about some of the programming that's coming out of the high school, and we're really happy with the partnership that we have formed with the Nye County School District.
As you mentioned that, I know the parents are somewhat excited. The high school student parents are very excited about looking at dual credit classes. And I hope the students are as well, because as you stated, Diane, first of all, they're getting credit for the high school course they're taking, but they're also getting credit in college. And for a student getting that dual credit, and at the cost you're talking about, the cost savings, parents, think about that. Think about the cost savings you have for your high school student that's getting college credit, and in some cases, Nye County is covering the cost for you. This is fantastic. So I encourage you to contact Great Basin College. Contact them at 775-727-2000 and let them know you're interested in looking at not only the dual credit classes, but all the classes that they might have. Have your student ready and prepared for college. This is their future, your future as well. So I think it's very important. To have a high school student graduate from high school with an associate degree already, that puts them so far ahead of their peers. Help your child, your student, make this advancement. It is so important. I wish we had had something like this when I was going to college. And I'm sure many parents out there are saying the same thing. But the opportunities are there for our students, and we have Diane here as our guest on this portion of our show, just to provide you all of this information. So Diane, what else do you have for our parents and our students?
Yeah, so, and I do want to, do a little shout out to all of those high school graduates we had this past May. We had 11 students graduate with an associate's degree, and of those 11, 7 of them were actually part of our machine manufacturing technologies program. And so we have an agreement with the school district where we have a number of high school students who come into our facility and get to learn some hands-on career and technical ed programming. So our machine manufacturing program is open to our high school students, sophomores through seniors. They take their classes during the high school day. They get credit over there at the high school. We also have a number of classes for our community. We have a class on Wednesday nights. It'll be starting on August 30th. On Wednesday evenings from 6 to 9. It's an introduction to machining. So if you've ever wanted to see what it was like to work on a CNC computer numeric control machine or a lathe or a mill or anything like that, we have the facility to show you all those fun things you get to play with. And so we're really excited about having those new graduates, and we're also excited about having this machine manufacturing program here in Pahrump. It's the only career and technical ed program we have here, and by making it more popular and by growing it, we can bring in some more career and technical education programs to the Pahrump community.
Now, Diane, please explain to me, when we talk about machine technology, when a person graduates with a degree in machine technology, what doors are open to them at that point?
So you can go work in any kind of factory or any kind of facility that may be making parts, automotive parts, any facility that might be making any kind of plastic parts. I mean, think about it. If you have something that's made of plastic, it was probably made on a CNC machine. So, I mean, the jobs out there there's many. A lot of the students will go to Las Vegas for some of those positions. There's also a number of them in California. So there is, it's a growing field. It saves manufacturers money by using some of these CNC machines and using some of the coding that goes along with it, some of the computer programming that it goes along with machining for machining students. So yeah, so we're excited. I mean, it's like I said, it's a great program, and it's not the only program that we have. We do have, I know we were going to talk a little bit about community education programs. These are our non-credit programs. These are programs for the community. We have grant writing workshops that the students can take online. We have programs on veterinary assistant if they want to take that online. So they're for non-credit. They usually cost a little bit cheaper. Sometimes there's funding available, but not all the time. But we are excited to start a new semester. We're getting ready to gear up again. We start August 30th. So we're excited. I do want to mention that we are hiring one person. We are looking for a part-time Gear Up person. They just need to have a bachelor's degree, but it's part-time, and they work with the high school students and the middle school students and kind of give them that added bonus of this is how you get ready for college, and this is how you fill out a financial aid application. And so we're just looking for somebody that can work part-time with us. And if you can either call us at 727-2000, or you can visit us online at gbcnv.edu and look up other employment opportunities that we have not only here in Pahrump, but up in Elko and Ely and our Winnemucca campuses. So
in addition to education that you're providing, you're also providing a job opportunity
yeah.
for someone. This is fantastic. So again, with all the information you've received here today, I know that somebody is writing down and somebody is calling that number right now to say, look, I'm interested, I want to see what's going on, I want to see what's available. You mentioned some other classes too. You may even have some non-credit classes that people can take online. It is just so important that they understand that. They can call you and get that information, right?
Yep, they can call me at 775-727-2000. And like I said, somebody is always there willing to answer the phone and answer any questions that you may have about our opportunities and opportunities that we have for you and for our community.
Okay, we don't want you to call this evening because they're closed in the evening. But during the daytime, we want you to call, and this is all during the week. They are there to answer your questions. I really want to thank Sheriff Wehrly for being here earlier and thank Diane Wrightman for coming in and sharing all of this information with us. And I want you to come back and join us at our next show. Thank you.